Bro, Stephen A. He just checked the hell out of Malika Andrews on live TV, man. I couldn't help but make a video on this.
It said in the numerous news reports, it was a consensual relationship that violated organizational policy. So only he is in violation of the company policy. The woman who elected to have a consensual relationship with him is not in violation. He gets to get mentioned and put on Front Street. We don't know who she is. What about the other women within the Celtics organization who have been victimized because wrong assumptions have been made by their involvement? If you knew exactly who it was, that would alleviate the concerns of all the other women who have had their names paraded out into the streets. What about them? You ain't thinking about that. So here we are. We're throwing him out to pasture. And again, Ime Udoka cannot be defended. His actions are his actions. Nobody fights for black coaches more than me. But I am telling you, a firing would have been warranted. Or you keep him. But to keep him, yet suspend him, by the way, not just suspend him, but for the suspension to be indefinite.
It's almost worse like a lame duck status.
You ruined his career for the next few years.
Well, Molly, thank you. If I could first start with this. Stephen A., with all due respect, this is not about pointing the finger. Stop. What became apparent to me in this press conference is that we do not have all of the information here. And it was frustrating to me that the Celtics declined to elaborate or to give more specifics about what exactly the rule breaking was that led us to this point. So that I just want to get that out of the way first. But to answer your question, Molly, I think what stood out to me, I think what stood out to me is that Brad Stevens, he was upset. That's what stood out to me about what he termed rampant Twitter BS is the word that he used, that women were unfairly dragged into this within the Celtics organization. You could see that Brad Stevens was visibly upset about this. And I also found that to be gross and unnecessary, that folks were bringing in the names and the images of women that is just not a fact. That was purely speculation. And so to me, that is what stood out. But the Celtics as an organization could have done more. And short of doing more ahead of this yesterday, they could have owned that responsibility in this press conference. I understand that there were legal parameters that they had to operate within for everybody involved, and I appreciate the fact that they brought in outside counsel and did a thorough organization. And I think that that is something that was clearly necessary in this situation. But the fact that it was able to go on all day, the fact that we are sitting here debating whether somebody else should have been suspended or not, we are not here, Stephen A., to further blame women. That is not why we are here.
Oh, God, here we go with the feminist bullshit.
First of all, let me be very clear. I don't appreciate where you're going with that. I'm not blaming anybody but Ime Udoka. He deserves, the fact of the matter is, I've said he deserved to be fired if they were going to fire him. If you're not going to fire him, then don't fire him. My issue is all of this being publicized. The point that I'm trying to make is just like you're not mentioning. Excuse me. I listened to you.
He said, bitch, you are not going to overtalk me.
You're the one telling me to stop on my show. It ain't happening. Okay, that's number one. Number two, I've already said he deserves to be fired, or he deserves to be there and handle it internally and privately. If you're not going to handle it privately, if you're going to publicize it in that fashion, then obviously it provokes everybody wanting to know, okay, well, who are the parties involved? When you have Amina Smith in Boston and other women pointing out the fact that there were women who were wrongly implicated in all of this, it's a disservice to them. I didn't come out with the report about a consensual relationship. I didn't come out with the report ahead of time leaking that they were going to suspend him for the year. They did that. And my point is, considering how pervasive this kind of stuff has existed in professional sports for many years, my whole point is that, excuse me, make sure that you handle it in the same fashion it has always been handled. You could have fired him, and then we could have speculated till the cows come home, but he's gone. But to keep him there, keep him employed, but in the same breath, suspend him for a year, then also that year is indefinite. That is the issue that I have. Nobody's trying to protect Ime Udoka, and certainly nobody is trying to protect, is to excoriate the women involved or anything like that. I'm talking about how things of this matter are usually handled from an HR perspective, from an organizational perspective. That is not consistent with what we have seen throughout the years. That is the only point that I was trying to make. I'm not trying to attack anybody. And if anybody deserves to be attacked, it's Ime Udoka for putting himself in this position. I've made that very clear. I'm just talking about you got owners and everybody else. They know the kind of stuff that's going on. You didn't say anything about anybody else. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about them. They didn't say anything about everybody else all the other times this stuff has happened. But now when it comes to him, it's all over the place. That is my issue.
See, she thought that she can just get on his show and just talk to him any kind of fucking way because she's a woman and she's used to men bowing down to her and, you know, all these weak beta males who just sit there and take it and shit. No, those days are over. Men are not sitting around listening to one-way aggression. Okay, you want equality? This is equality. You don't talk to us any kind of fucking way. We will talk to you the same fucking way. The energy you give us is the same energy we're gonna give your ass. But notice how she tried to make it like the women were the victims in this. Like the man is automatically the bad guy, and the women are, totally innocent, and they shouldn't be, their name shouldn't be out there. And we're not here to further blame women. What? Obviously, they didn't get blamed at all. Obviously, the only person that got blamed was the man. So we have a right to fucking ask questions like that. So all they're trying to do is make it seem as though the women were victims, like he was some type of sexual predator or some shit like that. But the reality is, it was a consensual relationship. If anything, they should have just fired him and not disclose, what happened. Or they should have, if they suspend him, then don't publicly say, what happened. It just violated terms of team policies, and that could have been the end of it. Yes, people would ask questions, but now it's already out there now. So of course people are gonna want to know who the woman is and why she was not punished. But yeah, I can understand if it was like, he used his power to, have sex with someone and then give her a promotion or some shit like that. I can understand that, him being the bad guy in that, but that would warrant him being terminated. It wouldn't be him being suspended. So I can understand a woman being a victim there, or if you want to use the victim narrative for some shit like that. But besides that, if it was a consensual relationship and it wasn't like he was using his power as leverage, then they both should be punished. I mean, that's it. If it violates the team policy, then both of them should be suspended or fired or some shit like that. I digress.